2010, chances are your kid has a cell phone and he's taking it to school, but one Washington State school district is getting tough, trying to fight sexting and cyberbullying by making cell phones subject to search. We're talking text messages, pictures, and videos. No surprise, some students and parents aren't too happy about the plan, and the school superintendent understands that.
I think cell phones are personal property and they are private. The only time when we would get involved in that is if we had reasonable suspicion.
I guess that's my job as a parent to do that. I don't think that it's the teacher's job or the principal's job.
Well, here's my rule, safety first. You know, sometimes our right to privacy has to take a back seat, especially when we're talking about the safety of our children. What do you think? Taking your questions, comments, 877-TELL-HLN. Joining me now, internet safety expert Lori Guests and Cheyenne Sams, who's a freshman at Oak Harbor High School, along with his buddy, Troy Sturdivant, who's also a freshman. Guys, welcome to the show. Great to have you here. Let me start with Lori Guests, though, because, Lori, I'm looking at this. Yeah, I'm a parent, and all right, maybe I'm getting a little bit, you know, more square or whatever you want to call it. But I see a need here because the technology is way in front of all the problems that we're having. And we're talking about sexting, cyberbullying, kids that are sending these pictures they shouldn't, kids that are talking about other kids. And, you know, you used to be able to confiscate the notes when kids passed it from one kid to another, and now they've got the cell phones. I'm looking at this and I say, hey, it's a good idea. You want to bring a cell phone to school? All right, you know, sign up for the program where if we have some sort of suspicion about your behavior, we can confiscate it, we can search it. Lori?
I understand why you feel that way, and my concern is that, yes, well, I do think that we need to do something about this, and I think we need to untie schools' hands to a degree. I worry about how far a school is going to take this. I believe that cyberbullying, for the most part, these are issues that need to be monitored and disciplined by parents, so I don't want the schools to jump in too soon. But when there's an issue that comes to the school's attention that's now affecting the school community, I think that a school should be able to do something about it.
Yeah, and Lori, let's not forget, you know, mom and dad are busy working, taking care of a lot of things. You know, for 6-8 hours a day, the kids are in the school. So I think that's where the problems are going to start.
Well, sure, a lot of problems start there. But again, this is their personal property, and how far are the schools going to take it? I think if the schools are going to do something like this, the policy really needs to be set in stone, and people need to understand what it is. It needs to be an acceptable use policy that both the parents and the students sign so that they know what they're getting into.
Let's read the policy for everybody at home. Let's show it to them, and then we're going to talk to the students. So I want to hear what the kids have to say tonight. The new policy states, by bringing a cell phone and other electronic devices to school or school-sponsored events, the student and parents consent to the search of the device when school officials have a reasonable suspicion, which is legal ease, folks. That's what you would need. Reasonable suspicion that such a search will reveal a violation of school rules. Now, at Oak Harbor, students can already use their cell phones before and after school, between classes, and during lunch. Let's bring in two of the students, Cheyenne and Troy. Cheyenne, let me start with you. This rule is going into effect. This is going to happen in your school. Are you still going to bring your cell phone in?
Yeah.
And what are your thoughts here? I mean, because I know what you kids do. You talk about each other, don't you?
Yeah.
And you're gonna, you know, and I'm not saying you're bullying anyone, but that stuff happens in your school, doesn't it? Don't kids kind of pick on other kids, send each other's texts about, oh, this one and that one?
Yeah, that happens a lot.
It does happen, all right. So I want to get your reaction. Troy, what do you think the reaction of you and the rest of your classmates is going to be when the principal or the assistant principal grabs your cell phone and starts taking a look at what's in there? What's he going to find?
I think they're going to find lots of, like, they're not going to find very much because there's lots of rumors that go around the school that apparently people send text messages that are bullying people or send pictures of naked people, but usually it's not like that. Usually it's just a rumor or a lie.
So what you're saying, that's interesting. What you're saying is sometimes the rumors aren't really true, but the rumors, obviously, I think at some point the administration or the teachers are going to get wind of those rumors, and they're going to start grabbing cell phones. Do you think this could perhaps deter some of your classmates from sexting other classmates or from sending texts that they would not want anyone else to read? Will this rule deter you two, and will it deter your classmates?
No, I don't. Even if this rule does go into effect, people are still going to do stuff like that.
Are you guys talking about it yet? How did you guys learn about all this?
A reporter came to us when we were at the beach, and she told us about this rule, and she took down our names and interviewed us. And then you guys called us.
And then we called you and we told you about it. Well, my guess is it's going to happen. Hey, Lori, and this is about the safety, and I understand that there's always this balancing test when we're talking about the right to privacy, right to personal, we cherish these things in this country. But, you're going into a school and environment where, number one, kids have to go to school, right? They're forced to go to school, whether they want to or they don't, they're going to school. And we want them to be in the safest of environments. And if there is suspicion that someone's being bullied, if there's suspicion that someone has gotten a picture of someone and is sending it around everywhere, violating the school rules, it seems to me like that's okay for the school to say, hey, let me get your cell phone. You don't want your cell phone searched? Leave it at home.
It sounds okay on the surface, and in theory it all sounds great, but in practice it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. I will say, though, that in the spring, after Phoebe Prince committed suicide and it made national news, I surveyed 100 7th graders, and I asked them why cyberbullying continues, and they all told me unanimously it's because they don't think they'll get caught. And then 3/4 of them reported that if the schools were more involved, if their parents were more involved, they would actually think twice before behaving in that risky way or sometimes in that mean way. So I do think that some of these policies, if they're instituted properly, could actually help in conjunction with education about the safe, responsible, and ethical.
And it all starts at home. And obviously, mom and dad have to be the ones who start this whole program and understand when you give a child a cell phone, you don't just give them a cell phone. You give them a cell phone and you sit them down and talk to them. All right, much more of this. Going to take your phone calls. Plus, this teen heartthrob, Justin Bieber, serves up some serious payback, Twitter style, to a guy who barraged him with